Okay, welcome to Microecons Lecture 2 on demand analysis. On the objective, which one are important? Mainly, we need to know the income and substitution effects. For the income and substitution effects, you must know the definition. I repeat the definition. This is actually the reason for the demand curve to be downward sloping. Alright. Other than that, there will be a list of determinants for you to memorize. The list of the determinants is for you to, of course, decide on this very important factor, which I'm going to use another color since it's so important. So this is the main thing. We will look at the price, deciding whether it is movement along. I repeat, this part will be movement along. Okay, if there's any change in price, this part, you just write it down, it will be shifting the demand curve. So this is the objective that you have to focus. The rest is just supplementary. Okay, what are the markets that we have? Markets can be actually any place where the potential buyers and sellers can meet. It can be online. So some of you may be trading on eBay or selling something and so on. So it can be online, brokerage houses also, and so on. So what is the introduction? We are looking at market economy. It will be the forces of demand and supply. Today we only do demand. Next week we shall do the supply. Alright? Today we only do the demand. You need both demand and supply to get an equilibrium. So today we only do one side. You will not get any equilibrium yet. So what is the assumption? We have to assume that everyone is behaving in a rational manner. That means when they buy things, demand is easy to understand because everyone here has been mainly a buyer. You go to McDonald's, you buy food and so on. Of course, to you, the cheaper, the better. Correct? You are supposed to maximize your satisfaction. That means your money, your allowances that your parents give you or you earn part-time or whatever, you want to make full use of the money. And the idea is the businesses will be maximizing profit. All business, remember, entrepreneurs' payment is profit. If they cannot make profit, most probably will be subsidized by the government or whatever. Alright? If not, they will just close shop. In econs, you don't talk about, oh, this brand of char kway teow is being given to my father by my great-grandfather, so I must follow the tradition and follow the family brand name or whatever. No such thing. Alright? Once you don't make enough money, there will be a condition that you need to close down. Alright, so we only look at the demand side now. The topics that you can read. What is demand? You look at the two highlighted words. There is a definition. This GS is just the short form for goods and services. In case you are wondering what is GS, you must be able and willing to buy. Okay, what's the difference? Able to buy means you have the money. Alright, able to buy, it means you must have the money. So when you are doing sales, you also do the same thing. You look for customers who have money to buy your product. Those cannot pay, you no need to waste time on them, correct? So able means you can afford. Alright, but even though you can afford, you may not be willing. What do I mean? If you see a bag that you like very much, okay, and maybe you already have some savings, and the bag costs 5,000. Actually, your savings account has more than 5,000, for example. But are you willing to pay 5,000 for that bag? That is another issue. Can you see that? So you may have the money, but you are not willing to pay for it. That means it is a matter of reservation price. Reservation price is the price that you feel that the thing's worth. Girls are very good indeed. You see the shoe, you guess roughly, oh, this shoe must be 49.90, you know. If you turn the shoe around and see the price tag is below 49.90, what happened? You like it very much, you buy. Correct? But if you turn it around and it is 69.90, then what you do? Put it back. It's too expensive, it's not worth the price. Can you see that? So that is the reservation price which has this ruling, and it will be given a period of time. Let us look at the schedule. It will be plotting always P in the y-axis. Make a note. P is always in the y-axis. The quantity is always in the x-axis, because next week we are going to lump the supply side inside the same graph to get the equilibrium. So if you switch around the axis next week, you cannot put in the supply curve. So let us plot the points one by one. Once you plot the point, is it surprising that it becomes a downward sloping demand curve? You look at it is actually having a shape, but for your level, if you draw me a straight line, I will mark you correct. For this part, if you draw me a straight line, I'll mark you correct. Different from the PPC just now. PPC just now, if you don't draw a concave shape, I'll mark you wrong, because there is reason for PPC to be concave. Remember, I went through the law of increasing opportunity cost. Reason, resources that are suitable for production of A may not be fully suitable for the production of B. So it will be concave. But for demand curve, for your level, if you give me one straight line, fine. Because we will be drawing a lot of demand and supply, there's no time for you to curve this side or that side and then make a mistake out of it. Is it surprising that it is actually downward sloping? Now, look at the con. If the con is $5 for one con, what will happen? How many people will want to buy the con? They may be thinking, I might as well buy carrot, I might as well buy meat, and so on, right? But if the corn is very cheap, I can tell you, maybe your mother will buy a lot of corns. The next 3 months you have corn soup, corn with meat, popcorn, or baked corn or whatever. So every day you have corn, alright? Why? Because it's very cheap. So is it surprising? We know the answer that is supposed to be like that. But in econs, there's this thing, when you give me answers that is not related to economic keywords, you don't score. So how do we wrap up what we talked about just now into beautiful economic keywords, which is the law of demand? Okay, what is the law of demand? It is actually talking about the downward sloping. It's nothing fanciful. Law of demand is just talking about inverse relationship between price and quantity. Look at the axis. The axis is price and quantity. So we are talking about downward sloping. That is the law. Alright? That is the law. The word law will tell you that you will actually be following it. It should be this way. Alright? Which is logical. What are the reasons? These are the correct keyword reasons to score. Alright? You cannot say, of course it's cheaper, I'll buy more. It's not going to work. So we are going to look at these few theories that we're going to elaborate. What is the income effect? Income effect, keyword purchasing power. Change in quantity demanded of a good or service caused by a change in real income. When we talk about purchasing power, your income may not need to change. I repeat, purchasing power, your allowance can be the same. Alright, your parents can give you $300 a month because they would be thinking, hey, one day $10, 30 days a month, so $300. Alright, but if McDonald's, your favorite food is McDonald's, and McDonald's value meal increase price, what will happen? Your income is still $300, but you can have less value meal at McDonald's. Can you see that? So what happened is the change in quantity, if the price decrease, can you see? Let us look at the graph again. If the price decrease, you can have more of the product. So that is the income effect to explain why when the price decrease, you can buy more. It's very cheap. So a lot of people are using this trick. One, if you go to the market, they'll say one of it will be $4. If you buy 3, it is $10. 3 for 10, 1 for 4. Alright, so a lot of people are using this trick that you can see. Next thing that you have is the other effect, which is the substitution effect. Okay, what is substitution effect? Before we can talk about substitution effect, we must know what is a substitute. So what is a substitute? a substitute is actually something, a product that is competing. I repeat, it's a competing product. So you can actually go McDonald's or you can go Burger King, correct? So when McDonald's decrease price, what will happen? Looking back at the graph, when McDonald's decrease price, the Burger King people may come here to eat McDonald's. Opposite is true. If McDonald's increase price, then the McDonald's people might say, I go to Burger King. Alright? So that is the relationship for substitution and income effect. When we phrase it very sophisticatedly, why is the demand curve downward sloping? This is the examples that I give just now. Alright? Next is the concept of utility. To do the concept of utility, there's still a few things that you need to note. Can you make a note here? Do not confuse this with marginal returns. Because we are going to touch on marginal utility. Some people confuse marginal utility with marginal returns. It's totally different concept. Okay? Why do you need to make all these notes? It's for revision. When you study, you want to make sure you don't study the wrong thing. And that is why if you have done this often enough in the exam, you just look for the keyword, you know what to write. You don't even need to think. So here, what is utility? It is a measure of satisfaction. Can you measure satisfaction? If I say, hey, you're very happy, she's very happy, you all add up to be super happy. Do you know how happy? Don't know. Can you see that? So what we do is we have to do some form of ranking, assuming the number, like strongly agree is 5 marks, then strongly disagree is 1 mark or whatever. So we cannot measure it very, it doesn't have a unit of account, so it will be a subjective term. Total means you add up. The word total means add up. Marginal, the word marginal means the next one. Alright, the next one. Talk no use, let us try and see the calculation. The marginal utility is the change in total utility divided by the quantity. Just note down the calculation. The definition I already went through, simple version. Let me give you an example. For example, you wake up in the morning very hungry. What you want? You want to eat your favorite McDonald's. Okay, the first McDonald's set meal that you eat, wow. The first one that you eat, imagine you have a scale to 10. The first one you eat is very good, right? Perfect, because you are so hungry. So this part can be marginal, means the first one. From 0 to the first one is considered the additional one, correct? So your satisfaction is 10. And you are very happy. The total is to add it up. So 10 with nothing, of course, is still 10. Okay, the next part is when you come out from the McDonald's, then you met up with your secondary school friend. Wow, so long never talk to her, chit chat with her. So what do you do? Then the weather is very hot and hazy. You need an aircon place, right? Hey, let's go McDonald's. Then you'll be, I just come out from there. Never mind, I can go in again. So what happens is you eat the same burger. Now, because the burger isn't very big, so you can eat another one. You are still happy with the burger, but are you equally as satisfied as the first one when you are super hungry? Most probably not. So maybe you give it a ranking 9. How about total utility? For 2 hamburgers, it will be the 10, write down the calculation, plus 9, that's how you get 19. 10 plus 9, you get 19. Then what happened after that? After chit chat, you come to school, your friend say, hey, let's do project at McDonald's. Then you eat the same burger again. Because it's lunchtime again. Alright, they say, you want to be free rider, you get 0 marks. Okay, let's go McDonald's. So you eat the same burger again, now the satisfaction is 5. If you add them up, how do I get 24? It's 10 plus 9 plus 5. Okay, after school you go home, thinking of home cooked meal with what? With soup or curry or whatever you want. Then at home what happened? Your mother say, hey, I never cook, I'm going out. This is your dinner. Nah, McDonald's. So what happened? You're eating McDonald's the 4th time. So what is the satisfaction out of 10? Maybe only 2. Can you see? You add them all up. Is add all these up. From 10, 9, 5, 2, you get 26. Last but not least, your father come back, buy you your supper. What is it? McDonald's. So if you eat it, you may feel like there's no satisfaction. So you tell your father, maybe I don't want to eat it. Alright? So you add up, the total satisfaction is still 26. But what if you eat it? Can it be negative? Can the utility be negative? Theoretically can. Practically nobody does that. There's no competition. You remember the hot dog competition? People eat 100 hot dogs. After that, what happened? They go and vomit it out. Correct or not? Because they want to do the competition to win the prize. But do they enjoy it? Do they get the satisfaction out of the 100 hot dog? What do you think? Of course not. So it's a negative satisfaction. Alright? So this is the concept of utility. Now this is the law of diminishing marginal utility. Again, don't confuse with the law of diminishing marginal returns. Law of diminishing marginal returns is another concept. Okay, what is the law of diminishing marginal utility? As you can see, when you have additional, the word additional means marginal. You have additional goods and services that you consume, you will get less and less satisfaction. That is definitely true. Remember, first one is so happy, the second one okay, third one, fourth one, fifth one, the last one is really not happy. So this part is the important part. I repeat, this part is the important part. I need you to know when is it movement along or shift. I repeat, movement along or shift. Most probably the question will involve drawing of graphs. Okay, what happens when it's a movement along? If it is movement along, ceteris paribus is only one thing change at a time. You can only have price change, or you can have something else change, but cannot be price and something change, because it will be complicated. If the price change, highlight with me, if the price change, it will be movement along. If it is other than price change, then it will be shift. Now, for movement along, you do not need to draw another graph. Look at the diagram. Movement along, you can imagine like an ant crawling up from A to B or B to A. That means what? When the price of corn increase from $2 to $4, it will be only price change. Only price change, it will be movement along. That means from A, you move to B. Okay? From A, you move to B. If the price drop from 4 to 2, you from B, you move to A. It's a movement along. Keyword is movement along. What if the demand change? If it is increase in demand, it will be shift to the right. Now, look closely here. Why is it shift to the right? This is the quantity. When you travel further away from the origin, it will be actually shift to the right. That means you get a bigger number here. Correct? So for any price, it will be more. That is increase in demand. Let us rephrase again. Look here. This is increase in, this is a change in quantity demanded. I need you to focus on the word quantity. So in this case, if it is actually an arrow pointing from A to B, it will be a decrease in quantity demanded. Can you write down from A to B, it is a decrease in, I want the word quantity highlighted. It is a decrease in quantity demanded. How do I know it's a decrease? From 55, it dropped to 20. Look at the quantity part. From A to B, it is a decrease in quantity demanded from 55 to 20. Then how about a decrease in demand? This is a decrease in demand. The whole thing shifts to the left. Just now, it's a movement along, it's a decrease in quantity demanded. This one is the whole thing shift So it is a decrease in demand. For this one, if you mention it's a decrease in quantity demanded, you'll be marked wrong. Vice versa. So be very careful about the way it is being phrased. Next, you have a change in demand, as I mentioned. So just now you already know price change will be a movement along. So what will cause a shift other than price change? Anything other than price change, it will be a shift. Ceteris paribus, that means cannot be so many things change. So what do I mean by other than price change? I mentioned to you in the beginning, there's a list for you to memorize. So this is the list. It has many points. Why is this memorization list? Reason is these are the keywords. So when I give you a scenario and you can tell me which is this is called determinant. If you can identify the determinant, you score the points on identifying the keywords. Alright, so we have quite a fair bit of the things, but I have classified to important ones on the first page and the less chance of coming out for exam one on the second page. This is how you study. You always focus on priority. What are the chances I ask you for all the 9? 0. I cannot be asking you for all the 9. So you must think how an examiner thinks. Most probably the main ones, and you draw the graph, explain the thing. That is how you learn. No need to memorize the whole thing. Okay, let us go through one by one. What is a normal good? The word normal already tell you it will be a direct relationship with what? With income. Now, the key word is income. So, when I say it's a normal good, when you have more income, what do you think for a normal product? You buy more or less? More. Can you see the price of the product never change? The bag is still $5,000. But if your boss double your pay, then what happened? You'll be thinking, wow, I think of this bag for 2 years already. I think I'll buy lah. Okay? I get the bonus already. I think I'll buy. So here, what will happen? The demand actually shift out to the right. It actually shift to the right. The price of the bag is still $5,000. The price of bag didn't change. If the price change, it will be movement along. But in this case, it's because your income increased, so you can afford. Alright? Opposite is true, of course. The other one is you have inverse relationship. You might be thinking, how can there be inverse relationship? When I'm actually having more money, I should be buying the goods. Why am I buying less? So that is why this is inferior. Example, inferior goods is pirated DVD. I repeat, pirated DVD. So if you have the money, you will buy the official ones. You won't buy the pirated. Why? Because pirated will jam and this and that, spoil your DVD player or not so clear because people record from movie theaters and so on, right? So if you are richer, you will not buy the pirated DVD. Correct? So there is products that is of this nature. It's not that there's no product of this nature. Next, substitute. I already went through. The idea here is whether it is close or not close. Give you an example. Coca-Cola and Pepsi is very close. Some can't even tell the taste. But tea and coffee, they are substitute. Why? Because they are caffeinated drinks. But are they close? They are not as close as Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Can you see that? Alright? For a tea drinker, you ask them to drink coffee, may not satisfy the addiction, vice versa. So the next thing we have is this. We have 2 graphs. Don't panic. Read the question whether they want this graph or that graph. When we thought there is an increase in the price of Coke, what happened? Coke, price change, it is a movement along. Every time price change is a movement along. So if there is increase in the price of Coke, follow me closely at the graph. If there is an increase in the price of Coke, what will happen? From P1 to P2, normally the one that comes into picture first, we will call it P1. Alright, then the later one we call it P2, and the number increase as such, so that you know which one comes first. So it will be upward movement along the demand curve. Alright, this is because price change. Is there any change in the price of Pepsi? The answer is no. Only Coca-Cola price change. So what happened to Pepsi? Because the price change, look here, because of the price change, what will happen to these people? who stop drinking the Coca-Cola because price increase, these people will come here. Not all. Some people will say, I'd rather have Coke or nothing. Now I cannot afford, then forget it, I don't drink. Alright, so you see this part may be smaller. The people who finds that Coke is too expensive and don't mind the taste of Pepsi will go and drink Pepsi, though the Pepsi price didn't change. So there is, what is the determinant? The determinant is actually, for point number 1, it is the it's point number 2, the changes in the price of substitute. The Pepsi didn't change price, Coca-Cola changed price, and therefore it will cause the Pepsi to demand curve to shift to the right. You have to be very careful at the way you phrase. This is the quantity demanded decrease because it is the movement along. Quantity demanded. This is a change in demand. It's actually an increase in demand. Right? So what are complementary goods? Things that you use together. For example, classic example would be printer and inkjet cartridge. Who would want a printer without any ink? Who would want a computer and software? A computer without any software is useless. Correct? So those are complementary products. So what is the keyword? It's jointly consumed. When you have one, you have another. Computer and software is a very strong complement. Alright? You can say spaghetti and spaghetti sauce is also complementary goods, but it's not so strong. Some people eat spaghetti with olive oil. That's all. Right? So look at it this way. What will happen? Increase in the what we are assuming is table and chairs are complementary goods. When you buy table, you will buy a chair. So when the price of table decrease, what happens? A lot of people can afford the table now. They will actually buy the table. Correct? It will be a downward movement along the demand curve. It will be an increase in quantity demanded. So when they buy more tables, what do they need? They need chairs. Alright, for the demand for chairs, what will happen? Any change in the price of chairs? No. But because people buy more tables, there will be more people buying the chairs. So there will be an increase in demand and not quantity demanded for chairs. It's an increase in demand for chairs. Change in consumer taste. If they say vegetable can help you to prevent cancer, then a lot of people will buy the vegetable and so on. So the rest are not so important. Reason, if you look from the point of an examiner, those that are having the complicated graphs is easier to test you on. So these are all the simpler things that you can actually read on your own. Okay, this is one that a lot of people mix up with supply. Let me go through with you. Expectation in change in future prices. If you expect the prices to fall, you'll be thinking, I'll buy later. Correct? I wait for the sale. And therefore, what happened to the demand now? It will actually shift down. The price haven't changed, the keyword is expectations. The price haven't changed yet. But you expect the price to drop. But the price is still the same. So what happened? You wait for it to drop, and therefore you will delay. Wait for Christmas sale, then you buy the product. Alright? So this one is actually shift to the left. So other examples you can read on your own. The last part is individual versus market. Market demand is you add up all the individual demand. Very simply, you just look for all the buyer. If you have buyer A, buyer B, you just add them together to get the market. If the market only have buyer A and B. Alright, so you just add them up, you can graphically get this. Those people who are graphically inclined, visual, very good students, you can actually read from this line. Now look, this line can extend towards the two graphs. That means it must be of the same level. It cannot be this one 10, 20, 30 and this one 50, 100, 150. Cannot be. Alright, so what happens here is at the price of 10, this is also market at the price of 10. All you need to do is add up the red and the turquoise color. So the red is 300, the turquoise is 400. 300 plus 400, the market is 700. Alright, if that is the case, you do not need to actually calculate individually. Then next part is talking about reading the demand curve. Sometimes we focus on the area under the curve. What is the area under the curve? You look at the axis, this is the price, correct? This is the quantity. The area is length times breadth, correct? If you look here, this part is 30. 30 times 3, it will be actually price times quantity is actually the value. So we can actually see the value of the product. That means price times quantity equals to value by just looking at the area. What good does it make? Sometimes you can compare two areas and make your decisions on which area is bigger. Later on, it will become useful when we talk about pricing, whether to do promotion or not. Okay, with that, that is the end of the demand lecture.